together. Guyanese, stronger than ever. My cup is a symbol of freedom for every color, class, and creed. A sign of hope for you and me. Together with the peace. What's in my cup stays in my cup. In my cup stays in my cup. My vote is in my cup. In my cup, it's in my cup. My cup, hey. My cup, hey. My cup, hey. Moving with the PPPC. Guyana is rising like a brand new star. We're shining. Look how we've turned things around. Never let them bring us down. We have our cups to the ceiling. Unity is the greatest feeling. We're building a nation for this and the next generation. In my cup, stays in my cup. In my cup, stays in my cup. My vote is in my cup. In my cup, it's in my cup. My cup, hey. My cup, hey. My cup, hey. Moving with the PPPC. If you want progress, put your cups up. If you want unity, put your cups up. If you want victory, put your cups up. Put it up, put it up. Guyana is on the move with leadership that is tried and true. Get ready to touch the sun. The best is yet to come. In my cup, stays in my cup. In my cup, stays in my cup. My vote is in my cup. In my cup, it's in my cup. My cup, my cup, my cup. Moving with the PPPC.
1992, this party didn't come just like that. We came with a conscience. We came with a political understanding that we had to right the wrongs that had gone on in this society. And so the Amerindian peoples of our society were the most neglected, the worst treated in our history. And so we began programs to try to reconstruct Guyana and to be able to integrate and involve Amerindian people from across our country. That they were Guyanese, they were part of the kaleidoscope of Guyana and could no longer be neglected. And we have worked hard as a party. We have worked hard as a government. Chetty Jagan, Mrs. Jagan, Sam Hines, our lovely young President Jagdeo, and our future president. This PPP Civic will continue to work for progress of all people, but especially the Amerindian people of Guyana. Today, comrades, today, this country, Guyana, is now being watched. When we play, we song, them a watch we, them a watch we. We're not only talking about the APNU and the AFC and them who's sitting on the sidelines. We're talking about the world looking at Guyana. That we have reached economic performance. We have brought forward low carbon development strategy. Our president is a champion of the earth. People had to look on the map to find out where Guyana was. Because we're no longer recognized for Jonestown, no longer recognized for rigging elections. We are recognized as a country on the move. We are recognized as a country with economic development. When the time of global recession, we have been able to show that we reduce poverty. We are the only country producing and giving all children who are registered in school uniform allowances so that no child will be denied the right to go to school. We're the only country that has been able to give free HIV/AIDS treatment, free prevention of HIV/AIDS from mother to child. Comrades, we have old age pension, we have school feeding programs, and we could go on and on. But the righting of the wrongs that went on included talking, dialogue, visiting the communities, not coming in every 5 years. Granger come here yet? You see Granger yet here? He come yet? Rupert Rupnaran yet here yet? None of them come. Well, when they go to Paramakatoy and Itabak, recently they get boo. They get boo. You figure out what you're going to do when they come here. If they come here. Because I know they frighten Moruca bad. They frighten Moruca bad because Moruca has stood with the PPP and the PPP has stood with Moruca all these years. So comrades, we have worked and we have worked And you, the people, have worked. And you have worked alongside of us. You have contributed to the dialogue. You have contributed to the partnership. When they rigged elections at the village level, in the Amerindia communities, I remember going to Ishalton in the 1985 rigged elections. And they told us they had no fuel to fly us in. And we used our own devices to get in to the airstrip with a pilot called Fazil Khan, who nearly lost his job afterwards. Some of y'all know him, right? And so, comrades, we hid in the plane, and we got in, and we registered the people, and we got our candidates. And yet, there were two shows in Ishalton. The one that was appointed by the PNC and one that was elected by the people. And the one that was elected by the people couldn't get his stipend, because in those days you had to be baptized by the PNC. In these periods of democracy and restoring democracy, you choose your leaders. You choose your leaders. You vote them in as your two shows and your council members, and you change every 2 years when it's time. Look at Guyana today. The world is watching us with the climate change, with the fact that we're the only country in this hemisphere that has given land title, communal land title forever and forever to the Amerindia communities.
PPPC, Guyana is rising like a brand new star, we're shining. Look how we turn things around. Never let them bring us down. We are listen to the good mission. Stayed in my cup, stayed in my cup. My vote is in my cup, it's in my cup, my cup, my cup. Watching me, BBC for victory. Watching me, BBC for victory. Watching me. Them I watch 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 me. Let them watch me. Them I watch me. Let them watch me.
It's very good to be here once again in Moruca and to see so many of you here. And I know that many of you would have had competing demand on your time. So I want to say thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. And we know that the sun is hot, and you've been in the sun for a long time. And you've been traveling long distances to get here. And for that, we're extremely grateful, because it is your courage, it is your commitment, it is your hard work that gives us the strength to continue, because the PPP feeds off the strength of its people. And when you come out here and show that you're willing to be part of an event that is a critical one, which will define our future, whether we go forward or whether we stagnate or go backwards, then I have no other feeling in my mind except that of appreciation. And I want to thank also the many comrades who have from long years struggled to see these changes that we're experiencing in our country today. First of all, to struggle to bring back freedom to our people, because after colonial rule, we lost that freedom for 3 decades to undemocratic rule by the PNC. And it is here in Moruca, and it is in many other villages similar to this one, and it is in the city and along the coast that ordinary people followed Chedi Jagan to bring back freedom and dignity to our land. And without freedom, nothing else was possible. And as we were walking in, coming in from the airstrip, I saw a comrade and he said to me, since 1967, I've been in the PPP. I was 3 years old at that time. And so we have to be grateful for comrades like these who have over the years, right across our country, but right here in Region 1, in the Moruca sub-district, who have played a significant role in the change. And I see a lot of young people here. And I hope that you spend some time to learn of that struggle too. Because too often, the things we experience today, we take for granted. But they didn't just fall from the sky. We had to struggle to get them. And if we don't appreciate that struggle, we'll never really value what we have today. And there is something that we have that is worth fighting for. It is worth marching for. It is worth holding rallies for. It is worth turning out to vote on November 28th for. And that is the freedom and progress and dignity that has come to all Guyana, but particularly Amerindian people. So I ask you to appreciate all of the people here, and I want the young ones to know. Let me tell you the amount of disrespect that the opposition party has for Amerindian people. A friend of mine told me that Ramjatan and a few others were in New York. And they said to people, collect some old clothes and the old shoes because it's election time. And if we take it into the Amerindian communities, they're going to vote for us. That is the AFC. And I heard some of them have come around here and promised the young people some football and sports gears. Football and sports gears are important for young people, and we can provide them. But we have to offer our young people a better future than just football and sport gears. We have to offer them the infrastructure so that they can get the best quality education in the world. And we are doing that by investing painstakingly in Amerindian communities. We're doing that, and it's still some way to get where we want to be. But we have come a long way to reduce the gap between what takes place on the coast and what takes place in the hinterland. So thousands of our kids now are going to secondary schools because under the PNC, all they had was primary education right across the regions where Amerindian lives. And what that meant was that your children's future ended when they ended primary school, because they didn't see Amerindian people as a very important part of this country. Today, our children are advancing in the secondary education. When we decided to bring the first batch of Amerindian children to the President's College, it's an elite college in Georgetown, PNC members of Parliament raised this issue and said that we are going to lower the standard of President's College because we were bringing Amerindian children in. And we said no. These kids, the only thing they lack is opportunity and access to education. And we were proven right. A few years after the kids went in, a few of them top President's College, got the highest marks at President's College. So it shows a mindset of the PNC and APNU and the AFC. They think that only election time you need to come out here. You have not seen them in the last 5 years since the last elections. You will see them for the next month, and then they will disappear once again, and it will be the PPP that will keep coming here day after day to ensure that the education system gets better, that healthcare gets better, that the road to Quibana is paved, that all of the things that you dream of, that they become a reality. And so, we can't promise you the world as they would. They will come here and tomorrow they will give every home, they'll build all of you a new house and put a car in each home if they get into power. That's what they will say. But they can't do it. It's just a wild promise to get you to vote for them. We have made a lot of progress in Guyana, but we took over a country that was in a sad shape. And sometimes you need to understand that to understand why we have not made even more progress, although the commitment was strong, the will was there, and the PPP has a philosophical outlook that supports Amerindian development. When we took office, the country was totally run down. You've heard some of it. But people couldn't believe that 94% of our revenue went to pay external debts. Because guess what happened? The PNC was living above its means for a long time. They were spending more than they were earning. So they had to borrow from abroad between the 1970s and the 1980s, a lot of money to maintain their lifestyle. By the time we got into office, the per capita debt was one of the highest in the world. So just imagine taking over a home, walking into your home where everything is broken. The walls are broken, the roof is leaking, the floor is bad, the children don't have money to go to school, can't have money to buy uniform, and then at the same time you earn $100 a month and you have to pay $94 of the 100 in debts. How will you survive? That is the economy and country we took over. Everything was broken down. And today, we have paid back 1.7 billion US dollars in debt, nearly 400 billion Guyana dollars of PNC debt. We had to pay it back, although we didn't take it, because they took the loan on behalf of our country. We paid that back, and yet we found money to invest in education and health and everything else, and water and housing and roads for our people. If we didn't have that debt and we could have spent all that money back here, just imagine how much more we could have done. But today, we have brought down the debt payments from 94% of revenue to 4%, the lowest in this hemisphere and one of the lowest in the world. So now we have taken a bankrupt country and put it back to financial solvency.
Everybody say hip hip hooray for PPPC party. Put your hands in the air for another big victory. They're watching we, PPPC for victory. Watching we, PPPC for victory. Watching we, PPPC for victory. Watching we. Them I watch, cause them I watch we. Them I watch we. Them I watch we. Them I watch we. Look at all the schools, all these bridges that we build, and them I watch we. Let them watch we. Yes, we build this stadium and we modernize Ghana. Them I watch we. Let them watch we. Progressing as equivalent and even let them I watch we. Them I watch we. Let them watch we. Them I watch we. Let them watch we. Them on the path you lying. I find them.
Comrades, look at us. We have working on the philosophy. You know, there's a university in the United States, and they have a very beautiful slogan called, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." Well, the PNC was not wasting one mind. They were wasting the minds of the majority of people in Guyana. Only 30% of our children who were leaving primary schools could have found a place in secondary schools. They were condemning most of our people into a life of poverty, a life of lack of education. They did not care as long as they stayed in office. on the other hand, have been concentrating all our efforts in spending money on you. The PNC spent $1 billion in education the last year they was in office. Today we are spending about $20 billion a year. And we are ensuring that you will know wherever you live, that you will have equal opportunity as anyone else in our country. That is why we have been establishing secondary schools in these areas and providing them with hostels, providing our children with 3 meals a day, buying a lot of the products from the village itself, providing them with school books, uniform, providing them with all the facilities that they can learn. Because we will have to develop this country, and the more educated and qualified our people are, the faster we will be able to develop. PNC did not care about development. They did not care about development. They did not care about human development. One of the largest expense we have is to educate our people. Because when you look around the world, to look at countries that are doing well, what do you find? You find the countries where people are doing well. It's a country where you have highly educated people. Not your gold, not your diamond, not the forest, but the quality of people. The most important factor for development is the people of a country. And we have to develop their capacity. That is why, including, we have made tremendous sacrifice. We are still a poor country. We still have many things to do, many things to work for. But we have made the sacrifices in investing in education. We have just built a new education channel, television channel, and we will equip our schools with that television so that the children can have supplementary education. We are the only country in the whole region that has done that. We have also sent, as I said before, given opportunities to people in the interior to study at the highest institutions in our land and send people away. I recall early in our days in government, one of the things we were doing was writing off the debts from university students so that they encourage them to go and teach in the interior. We don't need to do that anymore, because now almost 100% of our teachers, nurses, and doctors are coming from our interior community. That is how we have been transforming our society. And in the future, comrades, we have to go to higher levels. We have to look at other forms of having cheap energy so that we can provide more energy. Not only the solar panel, but we have to look for other forms so that we can process some of the things that we produce. We have to look at our agriculture to see if we can introduce new crops so that we can supply our own markets with things like black pepper and other products. And we not only for our own markets, but so that we can also export. These are things that are going to help with the economy of the village. And let me say, every time we try to make step forward. There are those who are trying to pull us back. When we came to government, we started to ensure that we gave title to the Amerindian for their lands. There are some who started to come round to say, to try to discourage some villages from accepting the land and to create all kind of nonsense. And unfortunately, some of the leaders of those groups came from this community as well. Came from this community trying to hold us back. But I want to assure you that the PPP civic government, we have already demonstrated that you can trust us, that we have given you the land, and we will do nothing to ever deprive you of any of your rights.
Everybody say hip hip hooray for PPPC party. Put your hands in the air for another big victory. They're watching we, PPPC for victory. Watching we, PPPC for victory. Watching we, PPPC for victory. Watching we. Them I watch, cause them I watch we. Them I watch we. Them I watch we. Them I watch we. Look at all the schools, Barry's bridge that we build, and them I watch we. Let them watch we. Yes, we build this stadium and we modernize Ghana, and them I watch we. Let them watch we. Progressing as equivalent, then I even let them I watch we. Them I watch we. Let them watch we. Them I watch we. Let them watch we. Them on the party relying. I find them real out of timing. They watch how we party striving. They only watching me. Wave your hand in the sky. Wave it up higher than high. PPPC till you die. Mahindra don't tell no lie. PPPC is the future for we. Progressing Mabaru, Mabatika, all for we. Them I watch me. Let them watch me. PPPC is the party for we. Cause they bring up this country to a brighter society. Vote Donald Ramata for the presidency. Vote Donald Ramata for the new presidency. And let them watch we. Let them watch we. Let them watch we. Let them watch we. Look at all the schools, Barry's bridge that we build, and them I watch we. Let them watch we. Yes, we build this stadium and we modernize Ghana, them I watch we. Let them watch we. Progress